Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news. Alright, folks, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you could very well be one of the most significant moves of the offseason for the Steelers. And it's not just about the players they add, but also about how it signals their intentions for the upcoming season. The Pittsburgh Steelers, as you all know, have always been a team built on a solid defense, a relentless attitude, and a smart, strategic approach to team building. And this offseason, they're making bold moves that scream they're serious about contending not just for the AFC North, but for another shot at the Super Bowl. Now, everyone's been talking about the trade that sent Minka Fitzpatrick away. Yes, Minka Fitzpatrick, the all-pro safety, a cornerstone of that Steelers secondary, now finds himself in a different uniform after a blockbuster deal. Pittsburgh traded Fitzpatrick in a move that caught many by surprise, especially considering his status as one of the best safeties in the league. But, and this is a big but, the Steelers didn't just make this move to rebuild or to clear cap space. They're already eyeing a replacement. And from what insiders and analysts are suggesting, they might have a very intriguing candidate in mind. This brings us to the recent buzz in NFL circles about the possibility of signing Justin Simmons, the veteran safety who's been a standout in Denver. Now, Simmons is no stranger to the league, with 9 years under his belt, and he's still playing at a high level. Just last season, he posted 62 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 7 pass defenses, and 2 interceptions with the Falcons, after being traded from the Broncos. He remains a proven player, someone with a nose for the ball and a knack for making game-changing plays. And at 31, he's still got plenty of gas in the tank, especially considering he's made 4 All-Pro teams and 2 Pro Bowls throughout his career, mostly during his time with Denver. The potential move for Simmons makes sense for the Steelers for a few reasons. First, they're looking for a safety that can step in immediately and provide leadership, stability, and playmaking ability. Second, Simmons fits the profile of a player that Mike Tomlin and the Steelers management love, experienced, tough, and someone who knows how to perform under pressure. But what's really interesting is how the Steelers could deploy him. They have some options. They could move Jalen Ramsey to safety, which isn't out of the realm of possibility, or even Darius Slay, if they decide to shift some pieces around. They also have Juan Thornhill, who filled in capably last season, but bringing in Simmons would elevate the entire secondary to a new level. Now, let me pause here for a second, because this is where it gets really interesting. If the Steelers sign Justin Simmons, it's not just about replacing Fitzpatrick. It's about upgrading the entire safety position. Simmons is a player with a history of making big plays. Over his career, he's compiled 32 interceptions, including 6 in just 3 seasons a few years back. His ability to read the game, make quick decisions, and turn defense into offense is what makes him a special player. And considering the Steelers' defensive philosophy, his addition would bolster a unit that's already been formidable in recent years. But let's be real, signing Simmons isn't just about talent, it's also about the strategic move in the bigger picture. The Steelers are clearly all in this season. With the addition of a seasoned quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, who's hungry for another Super Bowl, and a defense that's been consistently top-tier, they're setting themselves up as serious contenders. The addition of a veteran safety like Simmons, who's still in his prime, could be the finishing touch that pushes them over the edge. It's also worth noting that Simmons, despite being 31, has maintained a high level of performance. Last season, he was tied with Fitzpatrick for the NFL lead in interceptions, 6. That means he's still making game-changing plays, still reading quarterbacks like a book, and still providing that veteran leadership that young players can learn from. And it's not just about the stats. Simmons brings a mentality, a grit, and a sense of security that the Steelers' secondary has been craving. Remember, Fitzpatrick was often seen as a cornerstone, a leader on the back end, and losing him leaves a hole. But according to insiders like Steelers expert Mark Kaboly, the team is considering all options, whether that's bringing in Simmons, moving Ramsey to safety, or even relying on Thornhill. The truth is, the Steelers are building a flexible, adaptable secondary that can adjust based on what's available and what they need. Now, some fans might be concerned about Simmons' age. At 32, he's entering the later stages of his prime. But if there's one thing about the Steelers under Mike Tomlin, it's that they value experience and leadership. They've also added other older veterans this offseason, which means their starting lineup could be one of the oldest in the league come September. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Experience often translates into better decision-making, especially in high-pressure moments. And let's not forget that Simmons has a reputation for durability. He's played over 100 games in his NFL career, starting 124 of them. That kind of consistency is rare, and it's exactly what Pittsburgh needs right now. Now, if we look at the bigger picture, this move for Simmons would be a clear statement of intent. The Steelers aren't just trying to patch a hole, they're trying to reinforce their identity as a dominant defensive team with playmakers at every level. Simmons, with his knack for big plays, could be the piece that unlocks that next level of defensive excellence. And it's not just about him, it's about how he fits into the team's overall strategy, with players like T.J. Watt leading that pass rush, and a secondary that's been solid but could use that extra boost. Adding Simmons would be a strategic masterstroke that aligns with the team's championship aspirations. And let's talk about the division for a moment, because what's happening in AFC North right now is pretty fascinating. The Bengals are strengthening their offense, the Ravens are making strategic moves to bolster their defense, and the Browns are always lurking with their talent. The Steelers, with their focus on defense and now possibly adding Simmons, are positioning themselves as a team that can match or even surpass the division rivals. A strong secondary can be the difference maker in tight division games, especially when it matters most late in the season and in the playoffs. Of course, all of this is speculation at this point, but the signs point toward Pittsburgh being very serious about making a splash. They've shown a willingness to spend, to be aggressive, and to take calculated risks this offseason. Signing a player like Simmons would be the perfect move to show fans and opponents alike that the Steelers are still a team to be reckoned with, that they're chasing greatness, and that they're ready to go all in for another Super Bowl run. And as we look at the history of this franchise, it's important to remember that the Steelers have always been about resilience and strategic brilliance. From their iconic Super Bowl victories to their legendary defenses led by players like Troy Polamalu and James Harrison, this team knows how to build a championship-caliber roster. And in this new era, adding a veteran like Simmons could be the latest chapter in that storied legacy, one that says, "We're not just competing, we're dominating." So, in conclusion, whether or not the Steelers sign Justin Simmons, it's clear that the team is making bold moves to ensure they're contenders this season. The departure of Fitzpatrick leaves a void, but it also opens up an opportunity for other veterans or new signings to step up. Simmons, with his proven track record and leadership qualities, makes a lot of sense as the next piece of the puzzle. The Steelers are aiming high, and their strategy seems clear: reinforce the defense, add star power where they can, and keep pushing for that elusive 7th Lombardi trophy. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. This offseason has been buzzing with activity, and for the Steelers, it's all about making the right moves at the right time. They're building a team with a blend of youth, experience, and star power, all while keeping their eyes firmly on the ultimate goal: another Super Bowl victory. The defense is evolving, the roster is reshaping, and the fans are more excited than ever to see what this team can accomplish. So keep your eyes peeled, stay passionate, and let's see how this story unfolds. Because if there's one thing we know about the Steelers, it's that they never settle, they never back down, and they always find a way to come out on top.